Billige is wished by the red player in the bottom right from DJ. It is TrapDorSpida.
And in the top left of Frost Ladder Edition, the green Protoss, losing last time to an incomplete wall, unfortunately. See if we can make it back. It is Experta.
My advantage was small map. So this map, cross positions actually is pretty nice in a lot of ways for Trap. Just because if he likes to go macro. If he wants to go for any kind of quicker plays, then he can't really do that here, which is what Experta is going to know that he's dealing with a more macro-based player. But anytime you try to go for two base pushes on this map, when you have these positions, it takes a lot longer to get to the other side, and the timing is a little bit weak.
It kind of kills rushes, essentially, is what you're saying, and then...
most of them. Right. Anything that's based on the robo, primarily, because gateway units obviously don't have this issue. They can just warp in right there.
Yep. And Experta opting for a pylon and a gateway on the high ground at the top of the ramp.
Case is letting us know that he is reading the game. Say in the chat. So those of you in the chat, for the benefit of those that cannot watch, feel free to type about what's going on occasionally. And be like, what? And it'll be like, oh, something's happening.
Shall we cast through text?
No, I'm not. I'm definitely not being.
Well, I won't be able to move the camera if I'm typing the whole time, so I think that's probably out of the question. Uh-oh. Berta dropping one gas here.
This is all pretty typical, though. Like, what he's doing is instead of going for the two gas stalker build, he might just be going for Cybernetic Score, then second gas. If we don't see him grab that second gas pretty soon, then he is basically forgetting. And he's relying on Trap to get incredibly overconfident with his ability to macro. There's the second gas.
The gas.
So we're looking at a completely standard setup here. Just gateway expand most likely, though he could still do some crazier one-base stuff with it. It's not necessarily going to be the case. He has not successfully managed to scout Trap first, so he doesn't know if he's going to be getting hit with any kind of early pull. So he has to get this first sell it out. You'll see a lot of Protosses will actually skip it if they can get a scout off in time, which will allow them to know that they're not in danger.
Right.
We'll get out that Nexus just a little bit quicker.
Because technically in this circumstance, his opponent is expanded. His pool is late, and he's just content to continue droning up. So he probably could have gotten away without that.
So we're going to get the ZRQ interpretation of everything we say today.
ZRQ is our closed caption bot here. Quick, say a lot of stuff really fast.
Also seeing Tyler in the chat. Good to see you. Now, let me see here. We got a probe. Finally making it up into the main base here. Picks up on the actually fast lair tech. Relatively fast. It's not. I don't know if this is the typical timing. I mean, you probably know this a little better than me because you actually get to stare at it. But does this feel early to you too?
Lair? Yes. Usually the natural is established and they've already got roaches or banelings or, there have been a few engagements prior to this, so is he going for quick muta?
Maybe.
He's
there's
only got
one
gas.
I don't think so, because there's only one gas. Like, he can't afford to do that. Roaches is really the only thing he can afford to do, which, he's getting a roach warren, but that's not really too surprising in and of itself. And, Experta's going for 2 base into Stargate, which is... Usually, a lot of players will go to a lot of Phoenixes to cover an expansion primarily. So this is a very micro-intensive build.
I have to say,
it is not that fun to do.
We've seen Experta do the Phoenix build before, and I'm a huge fan of Phoenix builds versus Zerg. Just because you can harass the overlords. If Mutalisks come out, that totally shuts them down. They do so much damage to Mutas.
Oh yeah.
So he's pretty much covered. The map is larger. Trapdoor... Mr. Spida might be, I don't know. I think the fast layer has to have something to do with flying units. He's getting a 3rd base now. Maybe he's trying to fund this.
I think this is actually a very good move that he's doing here. I'm a little bit confused by the early layer because I'm not sure what he's trying to accomplish with that. But nonetheless, it doesn't really matter too much as he's going up to a 3rd base economy.
We have
his opponent, which is fast expanded, so this is all fine.
There's an Oracle on the way.
Yeah,
Ooh,
sometimes players, when they're going, even if they're going Phoenixes, will still grab the earlier Oracle so they can do some economic damage.
the
Um,
natural is completely,
though if he
completely.
doesn't start getting them soon, it's going to be a bit awkward. Technically, that did run through the vision radius of the Zergling. I don't know if Trap was actually able to spot it, but let's see here. Does he actually see? Well, he does now. Here we go. Here comes the engagement. There is only the Queen down here to defend. The Oracle actually does win a fight in a direct head-on confrontation against the Queen. Though
Oh,
right now, this is a really nice micro from Experta, just completely ignoring it and going after the workers. How much did he get with that? 12, and he
12,
got away with the Oracle. Very nice.
12 workers killed. Mr. Spida didn't react to that at all. His workers just got ravaged.
He does have a third base up, so he can begin to redrone pretty quickly. But the important thing is if he did have any tech like Mutalisks in mind, it is pretty delayed now, so it is going to be a lot easier for Experta to push out and expand once the time comes.
ZRQ threatening to paraphrase our words into things that are not so nice.
That would be nice if you didn't do that.
So, Robotech.
So I guess he would just wanted to go fast Oracle, or moderately fast Oracle, not really brushing it. But this is fine. I think I still would like Phoenixes, or at least one or two, just to get rid of any Overlords actually hanging out by his base. But there kind of aren't any, so I guess he's okay.
The enemy has discovered us.
Uh-oh.
It just wouldn't work all the time.
Queen chased this Oracle way out on a creep and took care of it, no problem.
All right, so that threat's been taken care of. It's still done all the damage it really needs to, though.
12 kills is nothing to be scared of as a Protoss player. I think once at that point it's like, well, I could just suicide this thing, it wouldn't matter.
You could, but it's still like you still want to have it just in case they do something crazy, like get burrow roaches and come over to your base.
Well, not to mention,
But
I like
it is your
Revelation.
only detection.
I like Revelation a lot. The is that wait, Revelation? I always get the two mixed up. Which one is the reveal on the map, not the detection?
I believe Revelation is the reveal on the map. I believe Envision is the detection. No way to check that now. It isn't on the field though. So we'll see if he waits until typical 2-3 Colossus before pushing out to get that expansion.
Spider going for a Hydra Den and a second Evo chamber.
It's also more or less resaturated. Just needs a few more drones to get the gases at his third, and he will be on pretty much the economic footing that he wants. But as you can see, he doesn't have like pretty much in the way of army units at all. He can't really harass the base right now while he's taking care of this at all. So this expansion attempt from Experta most likely will go up.
Double Forge out of Experta, looking to push that economy into upgrades and adding several more gateways in the Twilight Council.
Waiting for this expansion to happen. I'm staring at the probe.
Yeah, he just now has four.
He's got forges. He's got 600. There you go.
There we go. Observer running around, seeing everything it wants to see.
12 Hydras on the field. So Trap running up into Roach Hydra here. This is going to be a little bit awkward because the composition that Experta is heading for is actually very good against Roach Hydra. And really it's going to come down to some extent, micro engagements, and as well as whether or not additional touches like Vipers are in play.
Vipers are fun.
So
I love watching Vipers.
He's either going to have to start trading some stuff out, go for a different tech, or he's going to have to hit him pretty soon. Like, it's really one or the other, because if he waits a little bit too long, he'll start get Templar in play, and then it just kind of shuts down this tech path.
Opting for charge and zealots.
Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Pretty good against this composition. I don't really like the warping in the additional stalkers unless you know you're getting hit by something that flies, because they're actually not that good at this stage in the game anymore.
Mm-hmm. I definitely like zealots more against Hydras than mostly anything else. Except Colossus. Colossus are fun, because lasers.
Now, Colossus are the primary beef in terms of damage there. You really just want the zealots in order to tank a little bit for them so they don't get shot down immediately.
If we move into the later stage of the game, too, he's probably going to want to think about Storm if if he, I mean, if you see a lot of Roach Hydra, there's a lot of Roach Hydra on the map. +2 missile attacks just dropped too.
So Trap's pretty much hit max supply. As soon as these roaches come out, I would like to see him move across the map, start pressuring his opponent a little bit, make it a little bit hard for him to keep the space. One thing that Experta has done most of this is he actually not laid really any cannons at all, so the natural is a little bit, and the main is actually a little bit exposed. He's putting down some cannons over here in the third base. No buildings surrounding them, though, so they're a little bit on the weak side, kind of compensating for that with just sheer quantity.
Yep, and he is dropping a Templar Archives.
This is a pretty awkward position to defend, though. There's actually very little vision on the high ground here, so Trap could actually take care of this pylon and then just fire upon the probes from the high ground without even having to deal with the cannons. But here comes the move out here. He's moving to the forward zone like a watchtower relative to his opponent, and it looks like he's going to consider poking up into the kind of neutral natural ramp thing with the rocks on it. I don't know what you call this, because it's technically a intermediate area between the natural and the third.
I think oh man, if he would just check for that third, I think he could totally snipe that off, no problem. He's got so many Hydras here.
It's a lot of DPS, though. He's not really up on 5 bases worth of gas just yet, so it'll be a little bit difficult to kind of replace everything. But okay,
bad
he's moving
idea.
up into the worst location possible for an engagement, as it lost quite a few roaches in the process, and he's actually going to let his opponent just fight here on the ramp like this. This is a lot of Colossus, though, and I think it's going to be able to take care of a lot of this, but Experta is not going to trade as efficiently in this fight as he would have wanted to, just because of the way he chose to engage there. He does take care of the entire army.
36 roaches on the way.
I don't like that he's sticking with roaches all that much. I mean, it's good that he's going to get the army back up pretty quickly, but that composition's pretty good at it. Also, there's 4 overseers that are just like, kill me. I'm standing here, please. Oh, good, they've noticed what's going on, and they're going to hightail it out of there, probably without losing any of them.
Close. Yeah, these Colossus are just so good against this army, and it sucks that he moved up into that. I'm not sure what he was thinking there. Warp Prism down here at the third, though. Do some Zealot Harass right in the drone line.
Oh, this is going to be brutal. There's basically nothing here to help with this. There's no spine crawlers or anything to slow it down. There's just the Queen, which you don't really want to lose because it's, used in production. Did have a few Hydralisk hatch there, so it did lose a few workers, but he's actually still in really good shape in that respect, so didn't damage him too much, actually. Nice defense.
Total workers killed up to 16 now in this game for Experta. And Spider going for a 5th base.
Yeah, I like this choice. Just gotta get that economy up. If you really want to be able to do anything else, Storm on the way for Experta. This is when it starts to become a little bit difficult to engage the Protoss army at all. And at this point, I would like to see a different type of tech start getting added in. I mean, we need something else. We need some Ultras, or we need to go up into maybe even into Swarm Hosts, because they do very well against this composition, and most others for that matter.
Tier 3 would be perfect right now. He's trying to make something happen with this, but there are just so many Colossus. These Hydras are so squishy under the lasers.
Also, there's no fleet beacon up for a transition in the Tempest, so Broodlords would actually be pretty strong, as long as he could get them without his opponent noticing.
Ooh, Dark Shrine. He's had this for a little bit, actually.
Not really taking advantage of it yet, but Trap is actually pretty vulnerable to it outside of the natural.
Oh, this is so bad. He's gonna get flanked.
Yeah, he's trying to push into the third base here. He might take care of a couple buildings down here, but there's just too much. Oh, he still has slow links. Gonna move up here, and actually does have an escape route through the back end of the third. He's gonna be incredibly out of position in the process. Both the armor charge goes down. And yeah, he's trying to get what damage he can done here. He's picking off some of the cannons around the area of the Nexus, but he wasn't really able to do a whole lot with that, and that's just a huge amount of damage he's taken. That said, he's already resupplied back up to 164 supply.
Nearly
Experta's
doubled.
taking this as a trigger for an attack, but there's going to be another army here by the time he shows up. Ultralisk Cavern, here it goes. He's getting this tech. The thing is, that might not have been the right time to do it, as I don't think he has anything to deal with this army in the short term.
+3 weapons, almost done 2 timing attack here. This is not going to feel very good for the Zerg.
So this Warp Prism still manages to survive after dropping in those zealots. Considerably proving to be incredibly annoying at the moment.
Double-pronged attack here. Stalkers at the 3rd.
Stalkers are going to die here, but the main force of the army is still hanging out by the 4th base. It's going to push up here to care of this upgrade, so he's not going to get that for the Ultralisk. Does have 25 more roaches coming out, and what are the Colossus doing? They're sacrificing themselves to the Zerg forces here, going to get picked off pretty hard. There's still 2 more hanging out with the main force of the army, but now it's been completely flanked from all directions. Good force fields, though, keep out a large chunk of the roaches here, so I think this is still a good enough position for our Protoss player. It's a little bit scarier than he would like it to be. There's another force field on that ramp as more reinforcements come out. The thing is, it's down to actually 3 bases worth of production for if you count the macro hatch, and only 2 mining bases potentially once he actually transfers all those drones down after killing this army. This is a pretty rough blow for Experta. It's a lot of gas that he lost. Those units are going to take forever to rebuild. Even now, he only has 1 Robo, 1 Stargate. He can't really push up into that higher tier stuff very, very quickly. Here's a lot of High Templar, so he's going to have some storms and could go into Zealot Archon here. But as this Roach Force moves across the map, I don't see much that can deal with it.
He threw away everything. Those Colossus weren't even engaging the properly with the army. I think it would have gone a lot better if he had saved those 2 from... Well, there's 3 actually.
I like this Warp and Stalkers back at the Trap Space, though. He can do a lot of damage with this. Nice, freaky looking green storms. I'm not seeing that much of that. He's trying to push his way into the base. There's really, as long as he can kind of increase the time that this engagement actually takes, good storms there do a lot of damage to the roaches. Not quite as much as he'd like, but the thing is, there's a force of Stalkers back on there, killing lots and lots and lots of drones, overlords, and taking care of the attempt to build a natural yet again. And just pushing Trap into a really awkward position, even though he did do a lot of damage down here. He's not, well, he's basically got nothing now. He's rebuilt a queen. He's got no minerals.
Wow. Very well played by Experta.
And there's just so much up in the... Oh, now he's going to start killing off tech structures.
He's going to snipe off the Roach Warren first.
Roach Warren first, because that's the thing that he knows that this guy can probably afford right now. Gets rid of that. He's going to build an Ultralisk. He's going to pop up and probably die to these Stalkers right away. Man's using some Roaches. Just trying to do the best he can to kind of hold on in this game, but it's not...
It's hitting him right where it hurts, though, right now.
I mean, he's just buying time. Really, Experta is back home. He's just rebuilding this army. He's got 1 Colossus, so it's going to be a second one out pretty soon. A lot of Stalkers. Immortal. And, okay, cool. If this... Say the Ultralisk does come out and somehow kills all of this, which it actually might because they're focusing down the hatchery. Oh no, well... Okay, they've turned to try and fight against the Ultralisk, move back into a decent defensive position. It's killing off a lot more than it probably would have been able to. If he had shot at it right away, there's only 2 Stalkers left. That's not going to end the game by itself. This Ultralisk is going to come out and take care of that pretty quickly.
Oh, he's taking so much damage, though. Tech damage.
Another ball of Stalkers actually just running around on the outside here, along with an observer. He's picking away at some Krieg tumors, getting a couple drones, and back over in the main base. More Stalkers being warped in. Actually, it doesn't really matter what he picks at this point. He's already 100 supply ahead. He's just going to retreat with all those Stalkers. He does find out about this 5th base that he is not killed off. This is the only mining location left for our Red Zerg player. And any hope he has of somehow coming back in this game is completely tied to that base. If he loses that, it'll be over. Yep. And frankly, it's pretty close to over already. But, all hope is gone once this is out of the picture.
They're moving on that 5th base. This army is heading over this way. There's only... there's going to be 4 Ultras.
Here comes the attack.
One spore crawler.
Well, this is not gonna look so great. There are blink on these stalkers. If he actually grabs them in groups and pushes them back, Ultros will barely be able to kill anything. He doesn't even bother. Just A moves into the base. Experta takes game 2.